Stratego here. And what a difference in weather from doing the status quo video. Someone turned the lights on outside. Anyway, welcome to another album review. We are doing the new Iron Maiden album, Senjutsu. Basically means, translated as tactics and strategy. Released on the 3rd of September 2021. It's been 6 years since the Book of Souls, and it's the first Iron Maiden album that Dave Murray hasn't done any writing on since Power Slave, and it's the first time since Virtual 11 to feature multiple songs written by bassist Stevie Harris alone. So this is the 17th Iron Maiden album, and there's been no change in the lineup. Bruce Dickinson, Dave Murray, Adrian Smith, Janick, Gers, Steve Harris and Nico McBrain, and Kevin Shirley is still producing along with Mr. Harris. Okay, this is a double album. It has got 10 tracks. Pretty good album. I've listened to it a few times now, so let's go through each track and give it a bit of a poke and watch it. Okay, first track is the title track, Senjutsu. It's got a really good long intro again. Nice drumming from Nico on this. It's a really good drum performance from Nico. Song was written by Adrian Smith and Steve Harris. It's got some really nice guitar work, some nice guitar solos. I think everyone chipped in with this one. It's a very good song. Very, very good song. Next song, Stratego. One of these galloping, what I call the galloping Iron Maiden tracks. I love that sound that they have, this galloping along at a nice pace, and Bruce sings this absolutely spot on. His voice is just unbelievable. He's really looking after his voice. I mean, if you remember when we went back to the 90s before he just left, his voice was very, very gravelly and not very good at all. And this Stratego is a very, very good song. Okay, Writing on the Wall. Again, we've already looked at this one when it first came out. I still love it. It's written by Bruce Dickinson and Adrian Smith, and I love that Mexican feel to it. It's a really good, solid track. Nice guitar work from Adrian Smith. You can always tell his solos. It's cut above the rest. I think he is the best guitarist in the band. Okay, I may have upset people, but personally I think he is the guitarist. He is the man. So that track is absolutely brilliant. I love it to bits. Then we get a Steve Harris, Lost in the World. Real good track, some really stunning guitar work on here. But there is a but with this. I think this is just a couple of minutes too long. There's a little bit in the middle that just seems to meander a little bit. It's a shame because it sort of gets lost a little bit, but I do like the track. I think if they cut it down a bit, it'll even be a better track. Really, it is a solid track. Days of Future Past, another Smith Dickinson song, another good track. I love them two writing together. It's short, it's sharp, it's punchy, it's Iron Maiden. Great vocal from Bruce. Drumming on this is superb, and Stevie Harris. That bass line is really strong. Great track. The Time Machine, Janick Gers Harris. This is a brilliant track. It reminds me of the Seventh Son of the Seventh Son period, with that bit of synth running through it. Some nice guitar solos again from the chaps. Well put together song, fantastic song. And that's the last song on side 1. On disc 1. Disc 2 opens up with The Darkest Hour. Another Smith Dickinson epic. Lots of sound effects with water. Really good track. Some great guitar work. Tells a story. What more do you want in an epic Iron Maiden track? Very, very solid track. Then we get another Steve Harris composition, Death of the Celts. This is my favourite track on the album. It's got elements of Rime of the Ancient Mariner in this, and bits from the Klansman as well. Very Celtic. The intro's maybe a little bit too long, but doesn't take away from this brilliant track. Absolutely out the top drawer. Everyone plays socks off. Bruce is on fire. I reckon this will be another one of them classics that while they're still touring, it'll be one of the songs hopefully they'll do, and the live version will probably be even better than this. Next track is the Parchment. This is another good track, but again, do we really need a 2:11 intro? I don't think you do. Honestly, you sort of listening to this track. I've listened to it a few times. Halfway through the intro, you start losing interest because it's not doing anything. The rest of the song is absolutely brilliant, so it does come back, but don't need a 2-minute intro doing nothing. Hell on Earth. Again, I like this track once it gets going. The first 2.5 minutes is a repetitive of bass and guitar, and then it just changes pace, but Bruce doesn't start singing until 3 minutes 28 in. It's a shame because it is a very, very good song, very powerful lyrics, great guitar work, but for some reason Steve Harris has got into his head to do these epic intros. So is this album a classic Iron Maiden album? Probably not, but it is a very, very good album from Iron Maiden. I think this is probably one of Bruce's strongest vocal performances. I'd say really in the last 2 or 3 albums it is very, very strong. As ever, the guitar work is fantastic. Everyone sort of was a bit dubious when they went to the 3 guitarists, but that is one of the positive things about this lineup now, that this guitar work is superb. I mean, Janick Gers, people take a mickey out of him. What's he doing on stage? He just prances about. He's a very good guitarist. He's very technical, and he comes up with some great riffs. He puts his heart and soul into this band. I do feel though that they are starting to go too proggy, and I don't like it too much. If I want prog metal, I'll listen to Dream Theater, Symphony X, Pagan's Mind. They're the experts. Nightwish. They're the experts at that. Iron Maiden to me are short, sharp, punchy songs, and just one long track. Towards the end, the second disc, I start to get bored. The tracks are just too long. Although they are very, very good tracks, I think they are too long. I've never a 3.5 minute intro to a heavy metal song is just too long. it's by the time you get to the bit where on Hell on Earth where Bruce singing, your mowing's starting to waver. It's very hard to concentrate on that track. But I'm not taking away the musicianship of this band. They're still one of the best metal bands in the world. So how do I rank this album? Well, I'll give it an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Because I'm not too keen on these long, repetitive intros. If they got rid of them, I'd give it a few more marks. But I did start to get a little bit, when's this album going to end? And that's not good. But don't get me wrong, I'm not slating this album. I think it's a very, very good album, but some of the songs need to be cut shorter. We'll see what happens if we talk about it this time next year, or if I feature it Iron Maiden in the Then and Now, which I probably will do in about 2 or 3 months' time, just to see if the album has grown on me more. I mean, because albums have grown on me. There's certain albums that have grown on me since that I've brought them. So that's all for this week, folks. We'll be back next week. Got a fun-packed week. Varied music next week. Bit of 80s. A lot of 80s. Yeah, there's a lot of 80s next week, actually. A bit of prog. I have picked out my 10 or 20 covers. I did it last night. It's quite interesting, actually. What I've pulled out. There's some singles out I didn't realise I'd still got, but there you go. That's the fun of it is. So I'm going to sit and look at the covers and rank them. Probably do that over the weekend with a couple of beers. So whatever you're doing this weekend, folks, have a good one, and I'll be back Monday. Bye for now.